Today, I want to introduce you to different levels of consciousness you can do business from. Hello and welcome to the Successful, Sensitive and Intuitive Entrepreneur podcast. My name is Lydia Sophia Wilmsen and I am an intuitive success mentor for sensitive entrepreneurs. In this podcast, I speak about the challenges sensitive and intuitive entrepreneurs face. I offer you new perspectives and solutions, as well as experiences of other entrepreneurs. Plus, I speak about my personal experience of being a highly sensitive person who has successfully built and scaled 2 businesses. All of that with the goal to make you and your business even more successful in your very unique and authentic way. Have fun and enjoy. You might ask yourself, why is this actually important? And I want to tell you that because it affects the ease and effectiveness of how you do business. It basically affects everything, also your manifestation power and your ability to feel freedom, bliss, and all those positive emotions. Especially important, obviously, in the current times, in the COVID-19 times. And depending on your level of consciousness, you see things happening around you in your life and in your business from a different perspective. So whether you act from one level of consciousness or a different level of consciousness, and I'm going to explain which there are, basically the same circumstances happen. However, you look at them and take a different approach. You value them differently. You might even judge them differently and then come to different conclusions and again take different action steps. So it begins with a shift in perspective and it basically ends up in a shift in what kind of actions you take as well. And it is your choice. So either you make life, results, money, everything easy or difficult for yourself. And with the different levels of consciousness I'm going to introduce to you, you can see how you can come to a perspective and to a level where things become more easy for you, more flowy for you, and less struggle, less like you being a victim, you not having choices, and so on. And those 4 levels of consciousness I'm going to speak about, they are derived from a model that Peter Sage, an international serial entrepreneur, uses. And I'm using his model and break it down to business now specifically for you. The first question might be, what is consciousness? And there are obviously many different definitions and fields of studies around that. So from philosophy, neurological sciences, psychology, all deal with this topic. And I am using the term here with the definition that consciousness is awareness of existence. And I'm going to go into 4 different levels of, so to say, awareness of existence. Okay, let's get started. The first one, the to me consciousness, is the very basic one, basically. And we can also call it victim mode, as we already, like when I say to me consciousness, things are happening to me. That is what a victim would say. Things are happening to me. I have no cause over what is happening to me. I'm at effect. I can only react. I can't act. Everything is happening to me. And all of us know that stage. It's not something which only like the uneducated have or something like that. Not at all. Like you might recognize that from the stories you're telling yourself. Like my story is I grew up in such and this is the reason why things happen to me now. You tell yourself the story of I am where I am in life right now because such and such happened to me, because of my upbringing, because of what my parents did to me, because of that client who didn't sign up with me, because of that client who didn't pay me, because I didn't have the education someone else did, because I grew up in that country, not in that country, because that person left me, because this person said something to me, whatever, you find excuses for everything. And that means you live at effect and not at cause. And it's a very limited level of existence. And as I said, everyone has been there. And we often still find ourselves there. And we say, I can't do XYZ because of. And you're basically blaming. You are not taking responsibility. You are blaming your level of existence on someone else. And there is also bliss to that. You are blissfully ignorant to what is going on. You live and don't have to take responsibility because someone else is the wrongdoer. This is the very basic level. That's the level of to me consciousness. Things are happening to me. I'm the victim of my circumstances. And actually, it's not a really nice place to be in, especially in business, you know? You can't change anything. You are at the mercy of other people. And you can't really create amazing things from that level because you are not the creator. You are the person to whom stuff happens. So it's a very limited place to live from, or very limited consciousness to live from. Now the question is, what could be the next level? The next level, when I follow the model from Peter Sage, is the by me consciousness. How do you get there? It basically means you give up blame. That's the mantra of the to me state, and you replace it with responsibility. You start taking responsibility for everything that's happening in your life, and especially not what is happening in your life, but how you're reacting to it and what you're making of it. So still stuff happens in your life. That's normal. That's life. And you take responsibility of what you do with it instead of blaming others and staying where you are. And by me consciousness then is the achiever mode. It's what we predominantly have in our Western societies. It is that state of things happen by me because I do them. I get things done. I get my business done. I get the clients in. When I do something, I make it work. It is not anymore, I'm at the mercy of things. It is, I can achieve whatever I want to if I put in the work. I can make it happen. I'm responsible and I create the circumstances I want. It is obviously far more productive than the victim mode. However, it also includes a lot of this feeling of forcing, like I need to make it work, of elbowing, it has a level of exhaustion in it, you know, because you can only do what you're capable of doing. And like there is no outer help on this level of consciousness. In this level of awareness, you only got you and you need to make it work. And if you fail, it's due to you. It's not anymore that you blame someone else, but you blame yourself fully and totally. And that brings with it a lot of exhaustion. It brings a lot of overwork. And what we have in our countries, we have burnout, we have bore out, basically stress, and also this feeling of if I don't manage to get things done, I'm a failure. You know, if I don't achieve, I'm a failure. And this is why we have so much burnout in our countries, because people work so much in order to bring worth and self-value to them. They don't inherently live that feeling of worth and being worthy. They try to basically get to a feeling of self-worth through work, through working, through achieving, through getting things done. And it is this feeling of things happen by me and only by me. And I have to work a lot in order to make things work. It means from A, you get to B. You never go from A to C or something. It is always like I do X, Y, Z to end up in a place I already know where I want to end up. So that means you already get a lot of stuff done on that level. However, with a lot of struggle, with a lot of work you have to put in, with a lot of exhaustion and not cooperation, but competition. And obviously, as you would have probably guessed already, as there are two more levels of awareness or two more levels of consciousness, there is another one. After that comes through me consciousness. This is the flow mode or the flow state where things happen not because I do the work, they happen out of relaxation. They happen through sheer being, not anymore through doing and achieving, but through being. First, I want to let you know how to go from the by me consciousness to the through me consciousness. It's not anymore that by me, by my achievements, stuff gets done, but through me. It's like a different energy, a different force takes over. And how do you get to that stage or to that level? It means you need to give up the need for control. So you don't need to give up the control itself, but the need for control. By me consciousness is very much connected with this, I need to control everything, I need to be in control and I need to know everything. And if I miss one thing, something bad will happen. Like, especially in business, a lot of strategies are based on by me consciousness. I do strategy in order to go to 7 figures. I do that strategy in order to get to 8 figures. It is very much about planning and thinking this is going to do the deal. And it's not all there is. So in order to get away from by me consciousness and to the next level of consciousness, where things happen out of ease and in flow mode, you need to give up the need for control and you need to replace it with something, and that is knowingness. Knowingness, obviously the question is, how do we get there? And I'll let you know in a second. You need to learn to embrace uncertainty in order to go to through me. Because through me consciousness, in that consciousness, things just happen. You are at the right place at the right time. Stuff happens in synchronicity, like synchronicities happen. It's pure effortlessness. Everything is in flow. Life is easy here and business is easy here. This is when you get to this tipping point where it's not struggle and effort anymore, where it's not hustle anymore, 24/7 hustle. No, you work perhaps 4 hours a day and you are in flow and you enjoy that freaking stuff you're doing. And a lot of money comes in. That happened to me when I went for the first time into my 6 figures. And I kept it there. I have my business running stable on that level. And it was not about doing more. It was actually about doing less. And it was not about fancy strategies. It was about going into that flow mode and flow state more, listening to intuition, to intuitive glimpses, instead of, I need to follow that strategy. I need to do that now. I need to be in control. Instead of saying, I need to be in control with my conditioned mind, with that level I was on, it was about expanding into basically the bigger mind, into that there was more. And I knew I could connect to that level, and it didn't work through connecting there with my brain. It connected through intuition, through ease, through connecting with a specific kind of energy. And I did a podcast episode on that, on target energy. So check this out. This was how I got to the next level in business, not through doing more, but through being more. And this is basically through me consciousness. When you start your day, not with your to-do list, obviously you still can have a to-do list, but this is not the main source of your income that you follow a to-do list. It is that you follow your intuition and your intuitive glimpses, and they bring you stuff you couldn't have made up by a plan. That you just have this idea of, I really want to connect with that person. I'm going to call this person. And this person, there is no reason for calling that person, and you still follow that glimpse. And this person ends up introducing you to someone else who then becomes your first, 100K client or whatever, So you couldn't have come up with that through a to-do list, through by me consciousness. This stuff happened through you because you were following your intuition. You were following flow, that state between this basically effortless state. And you just do what you feel called to without reason. There is no reason to that anymore. And obviously, you can, there is a lot of scientific studies around flow state. So it's not something woohoo boohoo out there and something esoteric. There are studies around that, how to achieve that state and so on. So please, if you're interested in that, go deeper into that. How this looks like in business could be, as I already mentioned, you have this intuitive glimpse of, I really want to call that person, that you then let go of the need of control. So if you were in this need of control, you would say, okay, that's not rational. That's not logic. I will do that whenever I find the time, in a month or something, not now. And if you go into through me consciousness, you would follow that intuitive hint. You would just go there because it feels right in that moment, because you feel called to do that. And it might be that you come up with a new program, a new service, a new product, and it doesn't make sense. And still you have this inner feeling of, this is what I want to do now. And not because of fear, not because of procrastination. There is a difference in feeling to it, and you deeply inside, you know which one it is. You know, am I procrastinating and not doing the work I want to do or I need to do? Or am I actually following an intuitive hint? And deep inside, you know. You can go back to revisit your life and check on important decisions you made. And either you went wrong, see, like you have the feeling this was not the right decision. And then you can check with yourself, did I actually know before that I wanted to do something else? And usually there will be a hint before, like that you wanted to do something and you didn't do it. Or the other way around. When I go back and look at my life, all the important life decisions I've made, they were basic intuitive decisions. And I just knew that was the right step for me. And it's not about right and wrong. It is more about, this is the aligned step for me to do if I want to go to that next level in whatever area of my life. If I want to go and be in a, like, not act out of fear, but out of love and out of connection. So the knowingness, yeah, it is about following intuition, and it is not about anymore, like there is a difference. You can act out of faith. You just have faith that it's the right thing to do. And for that, it's a starting point. However, faith is useful and it can propel you forward in the absence of references. That means if you don't have evidence of something working, then you just have to have faith. However, the flip side of faith is doubt. Either your own doubt, your own mindfuck, or obviously the stuff other people are talking or telling you, like your family, your friends who say, oh, this won't work. So if you just have to act on faith, that's not a really powerful place to be. The next level would be to act out on beliefs. And those are basically built on references, either your own ones or those of other people. And it's evidence that stuff is working. It gives you a feeling of certainty. So if you act out of belief, it's obviously more powerful. And knowingness is this deep inner knowingness that this is your path and that this is your goal and you're going to achieve it. And this is something you can work on. It has to do with limiting beliefs, with letting go of limiting beliefs. It has to do with the own work you have done. For example, the shadow stuff, working on your shadow, that helps you to create a much stronger feeling of knowingness and certainty on what you're going to do. For example, in business, for me, it is, I act on knowingness. If I want to achieve my next level, for example, my first 100K month, I know I am going to achieve that. There is no question about that, you know? And this is the level which brings you to make the decisions in order to get there. I don't have evidence of me having done that. I have evidence in my life of having achieved other stuff. So yes, I have a strong belief and I can see it in others. And we go to a different level of consciousness just in a second. So you know what I mean with that, because I can see that other people have done it. And that means I can do it because I am basically them. I am the same human being. I'm the same energy material, so to say. So in order to go to that next level, to through me consciousness from by me consciousness, you need to let go of control, the need for control, and replace it with knowingness. If you don't have that level yet, at least get to a level of belief, a level of certainty that this is what you want to achieve and this is where you want to be. And you just follow your intuition with pricing. You know, just because you know that is the price you want to do. And that's the service you want to bring to the market. And this is how you want to go throughout the day, what you want to do throughout the day, when you want to take a break. It's a totally different level and state of doing business from that level. By me consciousness is I need to follow my to-do lists. I need to do A in order to get to B. When it's not on my list, I'm not doing it. I don't do things which are not logical to me. I don't do things which are not bringing in money in that second. And through me consciousness is when you listen to intuition and do things which are not logical. And you do things which perhaps also don't bring in money in that second. However, they bring like a huge leap in income in perhaps a month time or a year time. And you can't even explain what it is. You follow your inner guidance on that. What comes after the through me consciousness? After that comes as me consciousness. That's basically a sense of oneness, enlightenment, you could say, connection. And this is obviously a state where we don't see or where we don't hang out for a long period of time. It's only glimpses into that state that most of us have. And how do you get there? You give up the illusion of separateness, of separation, and replace it with unconditional love, which is your natural state. You replace it with the sense of oneness and the sense of connection and this feeling of it, not only the logical idea of it or the theory that you believe in, now with the feeling of it. And in that level, you see yourself as the other person. You even see yourself as the table. So there is no difference anymore. There is no separation between those other things and people you see around yourself anymore. It's the highest levels, like it happens in the highest levels of spirituality. And how is this important, or how is this interesting for business? This is interesting because from that level, you stop, for example, seeing your client as separate. Like business can grow massively when you give up this idea of separation. So when you think about the client who's not working with you, you don't see your client and are blaming him or angry about this person or this prospect. You basically see yourself and you can ask yourself, what is going on here? Like, how does my prospect wants to be approached? Basically means, how do I want to be approached? It's the idea of your client is you, your coach is you, and you understand the power of your intuition even more because you understand now what you wants you. Just the existence of a desire you have, a want you have, a goal you have, a pure place or desire coming from your heart is already existent just because you have the desire of it. And you can make it work and you can bring it into the physical reality because it already exists on this energetic level, basically. It is already existent in that moment. And for example, if you're sending a message to a prospect, you're writing to yourself if you're in this consciousness. And you can still do strategy and think about strategy, but you'll understand that the life of empowered strategy is energy, that it's basically yourself. And also that level means it's something you experience. It's not so much that it's explainable anymore. It's something you experience. And for example, you are not separated from money anymore. It's not that you make money with your business in some kind of freaky way. You don't know how they work. You know that you are money. You are your business. And I know it sounds freaky. However, the more you open up for that idea of oneness, of there exists no separation, the more authentically you can show up in business and the more you definitely speak the language of your soulmate client, because you understand there is no separation between that person and you. You basically speak to yourself. So you will never need any kind of outer approval or outer explanation why things work or why things don't work, because you know it just needs to feel right for yourself in that moment. And it's really funny. One of my former mentors told me when she worked with her funnels, when she really connected with that funnel and she thought she basically built an imagination around that. So she created a little movie and the funnel was not something external anymore. It was basically herself. It was herself in that moment. Her funnel, the whatever the names are, the confirmations, the people who signed up, the sales she made. This went up rapidly, and in numbers, like technic guys couldn't explain. So it was not anymore about, and of course that is important. However, it was not only anymore about doing A/B tests and what works better. It was this crazy stuff of funnels having working better, and even to a degree which was unforeseen in the industry, that couldn't be explained anymore. And this was because she was acting from a different level of consciousness. She didn't see herself and her business separated anymore in that moment. She didn't see herself and her funnel she didn't see a difference between herself and her funnel anymore. She didn't see it external to her anymore. Yeah, so obviously this level is a level you don't reside in very often. However, if stuff happens to you, especially with clients, still things don't work out as you plan to. You have problems with clients, you have problems with signing new clients. Being in through me and as me consciousness is very, very helpful. Because one thing is, you leave victim mode, you let go of this idea other people are to blame. And you let go of hustle mode, which usually doesn't bring you the results, or it brings you the results, however, with lots of stress. Very often also that people really screw up their whole lives, their whole personal lives, their relationships. And if you move into those higher states of consciousness, you basically create paradise out of that. I know it sounds freaky, however it works. I have done that, my clients have done that, and many, many, many more people on the planet. So in order to sum it up, what did we talk about in this episode? That it's obviously great to shift more into through me and as me consciousness. And I explained the 4 levels to you, the to me consciousness, by me consciousness, through me and as me consciousness, which are basically victim mode, achiever mode, flow mode, and oneness mode. Plus I gave you ways how to shift from one into the other and what you need to let go of and replace it with to shift and move into the next consciousness level. I'm really looking forward to hearing from you how this is working out in your life and in your business. If you liked this podcast episode, please give it a 5-star rating and a review on iTunes. That's super helpful. And subscribe to the podcast and share it with people who you know can benefit from it. You can find all links to my social media profiles, my website and contact form in the show notes. And whenever you're ready to get turned on and fired up by life again, plus step into next level of business growth, apply for a discovery call with me and I'll get back to you in the coming days. Thank you so much for listening, and until the next episode. Much love to you, Lydia.